Another thing is so discouraging is that the gasoline price has passed the $5 mark. On the national level, it is about like a $4.59, right?
Right.
And I don't see people getting mad or anything.
I think people are, but what do? I mean, if you go get your gas and you talk to somebody next to you, I can guarantee you the vast majority of them are going to just be steaming mad. But there are people apparently that just think that's part of the process of having a free society. Your prices are free too. They do what they want.
But this is not because of the free market. This is not because of the free competition. This is man-made.
I know that, but there's a lot of ignorant people out there. I don't know why anybody would not be totally enraged about the prices of gas and everything else that's just going through the roof, because it's all a result from their policies. So why wouldn't we? Why would you? See, if you know it's being caused, which it is, it doesn't matter what they say. These people that don't just watch their sports or whatever all day long after they get home from work, or if they're not going to work, they just believe whatever the government tells them, and they don't care. They're still, and that's part of the problem. Even after what we've been through, too many people still have their lives are too easy. I think that's what's going to happen. I think that's why this country needs to suffer, and suffer it is going to.
You know what, buddy?
The suffering we've been through is bad. It's nothing compared to what's coming if we don't do something.
Okay, bro. Well, the last few days I've been thinking while you were talking like this last year, saying that this country has been so comfortable, life has been too easy, and all that. I think it started sinking in the last few weeks. The more I think about it, I think it has a lot of truth in there. Life has been too comfortable. People need to suffer to wake up.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I agree. People really need to suffer. That's why I put out a tweet today. I was saying this: looking at the gas price today, national average is $4.59. In California, it's way over $6 already. And a month ago, it was nearly $10 at Beverly Hills. Okay, now I assume it's $12 at Beverly Hills, because California is already saying $6, $7 is a common thing now at every gas station. But anyway, so what I tweeted today, following what I was agreeing with you of this country being too comfortable, I was saying this: half of the people in this country might wake up to the truth after the gas is $15 per gallon. What's the truth? The truth is, on behalf of a world government, the controllers of a Biden criminal clan, the BCC, I call it BCC, Biden criminal clan, BCC, has been doing all they know how to destroy this country. They hate the U.S. too much to even slow down. That's what I wrote, and a lot of people started circling around. Anyway, the bottom line is, I agree. People really, truly need to suffer. Here's what I was thinking. In order to save this country, to stop the madness, the insane leftists, left radicals, there are three things we could do. Okay, and these three things, from my personal perspective, are the last things we could do to save this country. If we could not do at least one of these, it's over. We're done. All right? Number one, in order to save this country, we must find a way to arrest Klaus Schwab, Bill Gates, Fauci, and the 25 other politicians, corrupt criminals on the list. We have a list over here. Okay, altogether, on the top level. So these people must be arrested ASAP. Somebody, the sheriffs, the people who love this country in uniform, you guys need to figure out. You got to do it. That's the first way to save this country. Otherwise, the next pandemic comes, as we discussed just now, monkeypox or whatever other names they have for the next 25 pandemics, next 5,000 the vaccines, whatever they have. Okay, they got everything ready for us. Are we ready? That's the question. Okay, when that attack is launched upon humanity, it is almost impossible for us to have any other way to fight back. It's almost over. Now, the second way to save this country, set up independent committees to oversight the cures for diseases. Can our Congress do that? Can our medical community still be trusted to do that? We know we have great doctors, heroes, Dr. Miss Gold, Dr. Robert Malone, Dr. Peter McLeod, all those people, they're great. But could they get the power to set up independent committees to oversee, to produce, to implement, to disperse the cures, not the liquid to prevent? Like in the last 2 years, what do we learn? I think at least one lesson we learn is when something happens, we need to find a cure, okay, to take care, to find the most effective treatment first, not something down the road, how to prevent it. We need to take care of the patients first, to save lives first. That's the bottom line. Okay?
You know, we could have, because there was ivermectin, hydrochloroquine, there's many others. There's fluvoxamine, something like that, it's an antidepressant. There are many.
Well, we know that, but YouTube does not allow us to talk about that, even today. Okay, even today. Well, it's public knowledge now. On other websites, because YouTube does not allow us to discuss the cures of the medical treatment or whatever. And also, we are not doctors. We're not here to give out medical advice or whatever. People who are interested could look around. There are thousands of resources now publicly available. As long as you stick your head out of that bubble, do not just live in that little box, echo chamber again. The moment you get out, take a deep breath of fresh air, you're going to find, more information you can ever digest. Okay, there's too much truth all over as long as you open your eyes. So you can absorb and find out the truth in that area. So we're not going to discuss, we are not allowed to discuss this on YouTube because there is no free speech on YouTube. Okay, so you can do your own research. Now, the number 3, the third method, or we call it the third way to save this country, is we need to have some really good open public platform to debate. Debate what is going on, what the truth is. But debate is not for the purpose of persuading anybody. We passed that time already. Okay, it's over. The time to discuss, to persuade each other, to seek for agreement is over. We are facing imminent danger. We are talking about life and death. Okay, the only purpose to have a public debate is to find a way to get organized ASAP. To get organized, pick up whatever thing you could pick up that you could think of to defend yourself, defend your community, your street, your school, and your city, and your state. That's the only purpose. We are not interested in telling people what the truth is, why you should believe us. You don't have to. We don't have time for that anymore. That was 2 years ago. Okay, right now, we are facing a real, inevitable civil war. Okay, that's why, and the material wealth, your mansion, your yacht, your fancy cars, your computer, whatever, does not mean much anymore. Once they cut off the internet, once they cut off the supplies, like a gas station, all shut down, you have no gas. Once they started disconnect the power supply, electricity, how are you going to charge your Tesla? How are you going to run around with your little car pickup truck? You have no gasoline. Everything is dead. It's down. So what are you going to do? Because the other party, the radical left, they are organized. They are practicing their army every day. They can call their people to arms any moment. It doesn't take even one day.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah.
they are so prepared, and they have all the resources to take to the street to start, killing, open fire. They are totally ready. But on the conservative side, I don't think people are ready. Well, it was for this particular reason I feel a little bit pessimistic. I don't think the conservatives or freedom lovers or patriots are ready. Instead, people are so scared. And I saw a sign on a computer telling people our fear is their power. But let's stop for a second and ask ourselves, where does the fear come from? Why people are so afraid? People are afraid of what? Can we ask that honest question? I think what people are really afraid is that nobody's going to help them out when they are in trouble. We call in trouble means when they get into the fight, when they get arrested, when they get persecuted. Nobody's going to come to their help, to their rescue. Look at January 6 people still in jail. January 6 committee is a criminal organization, still persecuting people. But what can we do? Does anybody help those people? No. Right? But on the left side, on the radical left side, the Antifa, BLM, when they started burning, looting, you know what they do? They got reward. They got rewarded. They got money, they got a payment. When they got arrested, they got treated really nice, have a nice lunch, and then they were released. They were back into the streets. That's how this country is in such a dangerous situation. And that's why that also reminds me of the little clip I sent you the other day. Did I send you? The 3 evil female talking about how to overthrow this country. Kamala Harris, Hillary Clinton, and Nancy Pelosi. 2 years ago.
Yeah.
They openly tell people, forget about the election. Forget about the end count of your ballots. That means nothing. On January 21st, Joe Biden would be the next president. Doesn't matter you vote or not vote. Whoever you vote, doesn't matter. And then Kamala Harris just chip in by saying, well, this is a movement. They're not going to stop. We are not going to stop. We should not stop. Even after election, this is a movement. What kind of a movement? It's a socialist movement. The movement to overthrow the capitalist system, to overthrow our constitution, to change America into a dictatorship regime. That's what they're doing. Then Hillary Clinton will say, we'll never stop. We would never concede. Probably it is a waste of time to talk too much about the danger, whatever we're facing, like all these conservatives podcasts or YouTube channels. Now I think it's really important to talk about how to get organized, how to be prepared. I think that's the only meaningful topic right now.
But the thing is, there are no standards anymore, and that's what we need to wake up to. There is no law. They have subverted every law, right up to the top of the Supreme Court. They are subverting it. We live in a lawless country. The federal government, Biden, he will get up and tell people to disobey direct judicial intervention on aspects of things. And that's from the very top. That's from the very top. And so we've got to realize, the right has to realize, you know what, you can be law-abiding all you want, but all that will, do you want to obey a law or do you want to live is what it's coming down to. Do you want to obey a man-made law? Because guess what? There are laws that are higher than any man-made law. Self-defense and self-preservation is the main law. And if you don't preserve yourself, then you're not going to be around to see that all these man-made laws get upheld. So you need to learn how to protect yourself. You need to learn how to fight. because you're going to have to one way or the other. You can do it either all by yourself, and I guarantee failure if everybody's just fighting on their own.
Okay, talking about the laws, talking about the way to fight back. And the Senate Democrats introduced bill requiring a federal firearms license to buy and own a gun.
That is like the most far-reaching gun law that's ever even been proposed, as far as I know. That is just incredible. If that passes, well, I'll tell you what they're going to do is they're going to make, because, okay, here's the thing. In all that's been going on, guess what? People who have never even, people who hate guns and never had owned a gun, they're buying them now. So what they're going to do is they're going to create, because those people know what's going on. They do in this issue. And once that type of law is passed, guess what? You're going to make criminals out of the vast majority of the people in this country. And guess what? They are not going to give up their guns. I do not believe, because they can see what's happened already. And that's why everybody went out and bought guns, even when they hate guns. So,
well, certainly I hope they would not be able to pass this bill. Okay, if it takes a federal firearms license to buy and own a gun, that equals to take away our Second Amendment.
It is.
There is no difference. This is a direct onslaught attack on our Second Amendment, our constitutional right. And I have a copy of our Constitution. And the Second Amendment is very simple. It says, a well-regulated militia, being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Simple. Shall not be infringed. So this kind of a bill, the Senate Democrats trying to introduce this kind of a bill is a blatant infringement upon our Second Amendment.
Well, they've infringed every other right, from speech to religion, everything else they have subverted and destroyed.
Right.
So why not? Because that Second Amendment is how they will lose or keep their control of all the other amendments. So
you know what? Okay, brother, here's the interesting part, which I've been debating with my other friends over the phone the last month, 2 months ago, goes back all the way to 2, 3, 5 years ago. What's the relationship between our First and Second Amendment? One argument is, because we have our Second Amendment, so we can safeguard our First Amendment. If they try to take away our First Amendment, we can use our Second Amendment to take back our First Amendment, to keep our First Amendment, our free speech. That's one argument, okay? But my argument is the other way around, which is First Amendment is more important than any other amendment. Superficially speaking, it is seemingly correct that we need our guns to keep our other rights. Without our guns, like Australians, we would lose everything. The government could come and take away everything. We have no way to fight back, right? Seemingly, that's true. But my understanding is, it's not really true. It's a paradox. It's seemingly right, but it actually is wrong. First Amendment is so crucial. That's why Elon Musk is fighting to gain control of a social platform in order to spread truth, to let people speak. That's called free speech. Without free speech, it's useless to have your guns. You know why? It takes a free speech to create open public debate, to get consensus. People can get organized.
yes.
Without free speech, people would never be able to get organized. Each individual would be controlled, fooled, or scared by the government. The government is too powerful. It takes a free speech to make people understand what the freaking shit is going on in this country. Once people see the reality, once the people realize what's truly going on, that's how people can get organized. Once people are organized, our weapons could start playing its role. And this organized populace is nothing.
Right. Well, as they stated, a well-regulated militia, so they knew it wasn't going to be just individuals on their own that needed to fight. You do need to organize.
What's the definition of militia? A militia is not an individual person, a guy or a boy or girl. A militia means a group of people, armed group of people, right? Like in our community, we'll have 35 people, we'll have 200 people. That's a militia.
Yep.
I myself is not militia. I'm just one individual in that militia.
Correct.
Yeah, that's my understanding. So great. So in order to have a militia, we must have a free speech in order to get people on the same page. If the people are not on the same page, it's so easy to be defeated by the government because government is organized. It's mafia.
Yeah.
So